The White House fires back. That sounds serious, right? Well, it kind of is. The White House is actually trying to fight back against courts that are saying that President Biden does not have the legal authority to forgive $10,000 in student debt. Now, I specifically want to address this article right here. White House fires back in court against block on student loan debt forgiveness. It was published this morning. Now, why do I want to talk about this? Now, it does not matter whether you are eligible for student loan forgiveness or not, whether you're eligible for $10,000 or $20. It does not matter, okay? This is going to impact every single one of us. And I want to explain why. There are 6 conservative states. There's Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, there's Nebraska, and South Carolina. They are all arguing that President Biden does not have the legal authority that he alleges he does, because they are saying that they could be hurt financially by this mass forgiveness of student loan debt. Now, I want to make something very clear. We are going to, again, there's 2 weeks. We have 2 weeks from tomorrow. This could go one of 2 ways, okay? There is still those people that say President Biden has never had the legal authority to forgive student loan debt. Keep this in mind. Again, I'm going to give you the Republican side of things. I'm going to give you the Democratic side of things. So Republicans say President Biden has never had the legal authority. And yet he is going out there saying that go and apply. Everybody, go and apply for up to $10,000 in student debt forgiveness, because we're going to be able to cancel that. But Republicans are saying, well, if he's going to be able to cancel that, why can't he cancel that debt now? Why do you have to go and apply? And why did the Biden administration wait so long? Because people are going to go and apply, and then hopefully come January 1st, they're going to see that up to $10,000 just taken off of their student debt, right? What Republicans are saying, which is understandable, is it sounds like you're just trying to buy time to get through this the next 2 weeks, because again, November 8th, big day. But you're going to buy time for 2 weeks, because then hopefully your colleagues, Democrats, get voted in, right? They get voted in, which if you win more seats in the Senate, then maybe they can get some of their legislation passed. But again, it sounds like a political game. And then you got Democrats that are saying, well, no, this isn't a political game. You guys are playing the political game, that we are actually trying to provide forgiveness and help to those that need it. Up to $10,000 in student debt forgiveness. Well, in just 2 weeks, we're going to have an answer. Whether voters, the American people, believed what Republicans were saying or what Democrats are saying. And then come January 1st, we will know whether or not this is something that can legally be done. Because at the same time, we hear the Republican story, we hear their side, we hear the Democrat side, but here's the issue. Democratic lawmakers over the past year have been telling us the same story, that the president, not just President Biden, the president doesn't have the authority to forgive student loan debt. He just doesn't have that authority, not legally. So at the same time, this could be a ploy from Democrats to try to push this down the road a couple months to buy them more time. Or at the same time, this could be a ploy from Republican states in an attempt to slow down votes for Democrats leading into the final 2 weeks. But again, that's what's extremely important about what's happening right here. And I've said this before, we are going to see these political games. These are not done. We're not over with. Okay, we still got a couple weeks. Then after that, who knows? We will probably see some more political games. But what I can tell you right now is we've only had 1 week, okay, of applications coming in for student loan forgiveness. And according to President Biden, more than 22 million people have already applied. But this is why it's so interesting at this time. Where do we go from here? Do we see student debt forgiveness? Possibly. And I brought this up over the past, couple weeks as well, is student loan forgiveness is one of the big talking points, because guess what? What are the American people worried about? They're worried about inflation. Well, inflation is eating away at everything, but what it is also doing, if they can get rid of up to $10,000 in student debt, well, now they have potentially up to $10,000 that they can use for other things, like buying a house, buying a car, starting a business, paying off other debt or whatever. And that's what's so important, is right now the White House is pushing additional relief. They can't get it passed through Congress. They know this. So what do? They find a workaround, a roundabout way to provide that relief. We saw this with the child tax credit payments, which is something that Republicans were actually on board with. Now what we're getting is Republicans want to see the child tax credit payments reinitiated, but they want to see that with a little bit of a twist, where you have to make a certain amount of money first, or else it would not actually, you wouldn't qualify. So we'll see what happens there. One thing that I can tell you though, again, and I wish this wasn't the case, and we saw this, 2 years ago with the presidential election, was, well, what's going to happen is we're going to get some truth, we're going to get some lies, and it's just going to go back and forth. So here's one thing I just want you to prepare for. First off, we're going to see different statements from different people. The president's going to be coming out and talking. He will be campaigning for certain lawmakers over the next couple of weeks. We can expect that. We can expect a lot of interviews. We can expect a lot of advertisements for certain people. Expect that, but also expect what people say is not necessarily what they're actually going to be able to provide. So if somebody says, "Hey, vote for me because I can get the legislation passed for child tax credit payments," consider that, but also with a grain of salt. Same thing when it comes to any type of stimulus, affordable housing. Again, I wish housing was not as expensive as it is. It's starting to come down, but at the same time, we are getting more affordable housing, but at the same time, we're potentially in the middle of a crash. All right, so just keep that in mind. Which takes us to another thing: is it because the Biden administration? Is that why real estate is crashing? Is that why the stock market is crashing? Yes and no. It's not the only reason why, but there's a good reason why. They are a good reason why. So just keep that in mind. Now, last thing I can tell you is understand what happens over the next 2 weeks does not necessarily mean anything is going to change. Okay? If we see gas prices go down, which I talked about this earlier, and I said, this is good news, we're seeing gas prices go down, awesome. But at the same time, guess what? Well, they are eventually going to go back up. This is just the nature of the game. So whether it's gasoline prices, whether it's diesel, whether it's housing prices, things are going to change over the next couple weeks and over the next couple years. So that's what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.